Hello friends, I'm going to read Gracie's guide, Staying Positive. Gracie and Kenzie had been best friends since preschool. They were in the same class at school, attended the same church, lived within 2 blocks of each other, and had as many sleepovers together as their parents allowed. It seems they never got tired of each other. They liked the same TV shows, enjoyed the same flavored ice cream, insisted on the same toppings on their pizza, and could not go more than a week without whispering secrets. One of their favorite things to do together was solve mysteries. They called themselves super spies. They were poster kids for BFFs. If you want to know anything about Gracie, you could ask Kenzie. And if you want to know anything about Kenzie, you could ask Gracie. They could even finish each other's sentences at times. It was craziness with a capital C. But one day, Gracie noticed that Kenzie wasn't her usual self. It wasn't an enormous change. She just seemed to be a little quiet. She didn't giggle when Gracie made her fish face in the middle of math class. There was no snickering on the swings when Gracie sang their favorite tune in her highest opera voice. But the biggest clue was when she didn't want to split the yummiest piece of chocolate cake with extra sprinkles that the 2 of them had ever seen packed in Gracie's lunch. Gracie sat staring at her lunchbox and wondered what in the world was up. Finally, when they got on their bus to go home, she could stand it no longer. Gracie asked her, "What is going on?" "Nothing," Kenzie muttered. "Nothing? Really?" Was that her answer? Gracie could not believe her ears. She asked her again, but she got the same response. She asked her if she was sick. Kenzie shook her head. She asked her if someone had been mean to her, if she had received a bad grade, but all Kenzie did was shake her head. They sat in silence until the bus stopped at Gracie's apartment building. There was something wrong, and she had to figure out what it was. Gracie ran into her bedroom and dumped her spy backpack out on her bed. There had to be something in there to help her figure it out. Even though she didn't think she would get any clues from an empty notebook, pens, binoculars, and pink camouflage duct tape, she sighed and wondered, what could she do? She told her mom all about it at dinner. "Sometimes you just have a bad day. It's not a big deal. I'm sure Kenzie will be fine tomorrow," Gracie's mom said with a smile. Well, she wasn't. It was the same thing all over again. Kenzie did not laugh or even smile all day long. And Gracie wasn't the only one to notice. Their teacher, Miss T, even asked her if anything was wrong. That afternoon on the bus, Gracie pleaded, begged, and was almost to the point of tears as she tried to pry into her BFF's life. "I just don't want to talk about it," Kenzie finally said. Aha, Gracie thought. She didn't say it out loud, but she thought it to herself. This was her first clue in the mystery. She said she didn't want to talk about it. That means there is something wrong. It's not nothing like it was yesterday. There was an it. When Gracie got off the bus, she ran all the way to her apartment and began to pace around as her mind played over the past few days. She tried to think of anything that it could be. But try as she may, she did not have a clue. It was very frustrating for a super spy not to have a clue. This went on for almost a week. Kenzie talked very little and smiled even less. It was getting to where everyone noticed. On Friday afternoon, Miss Evans, the school guidance counselor, pulled Kenzie out of the classroom for a little talk. They had been gone for almost an hour when Gracie was called to go to Miss Evans' office as well. Gracie did not know what was going on, but she wanted to help if she could. When she entered the office, she could tell that Kenzie had been crying. Gracie ran to her and hugged her at once and asked her what was wrong. Miss Evans began to talk and shared that Kenzie's parents were getting a divorce. Gracie could not believe her ears. How could this happen? Miss Evans told the girls that she had something to show them. She pulled a Mr. Potato Head off the shelf and turned to them. Gracie closed her eyes and thought, she has got to be kidding. They were not kindergartners. This was a serious problem in Kenzie's life, and Miss Evans is showing us a Mr. Potato Head? This had to be a lousy joke. But it wasn't a joke. In fact, it turned out to be a good thing. The facial features for this big-headed guy were all mixed up. It looks like someone had fixed them with their eyes closed. "Okay, Kinsey," Miss Evans said, "I want you to rearrange his face." Kinsey smiled for the first time in almost a week. She began to talk about a kid in their class who she felt was annoying. And then she talked about her cousin from Montreal. And she ended up talking about her parents. Gracie was in shock when Kinsey included her parents. She didn't know Kinsey's cousin, and she agreed with her about the kid in their class, but her parents? But it didn't seem to catch Miss Evans off guard. She told her it was a natural reaction to hold anger inside at times. The big issue was how she handled that anger. "Why are you angry at your parents?" Miss Evans inquired. "Because all they think about is themselves. They haven't even thought about me." "What will I do if they split up?" Kinsey asked. Miss Evans said, "Well, things don't always go the way we want them to, Kinsey. There are some decisions that parents make that are upsetting to children, but this is not something that they've decided on the spur of the moment. I know that change is difficult, but I want to help you make it through this challenging time." Kinsey began to fix the face of Mr. Potato Head. Miss Evans handed her a box that held some additional parts. She put angry eyes and a frown on him. She gave it back. "It's okay to feel anger and sadness. The most important part is for you to not hold this in. It's good to talk about your feelings and not hold them inside. I'm here to listen, and I'm sure that Gracie will listen as well," Miss Evans stated. "You know I will," Gracie said. "Any time." Kinsey talked and shared her feelings for a few moments. There were some things that made her mad about the situation, and some things that made her sad. But the fact that her parents would be happier in the end even made her feel a little better. Miss Evans explained how everyone has different reactions and emotions they feel in life. Miss Evans told Kinsey to come back and talk as often as she wanted, and she said she could even bring Gracie. She set up a weekly time for the two of them to come to her office and talk. And each time, Kinsey rearranged Mr. Potato Head's face, everything from anger to smile, and sometimes back again. Gracie was glad that Kinsey was doing better. There were some days when it seemed like nothing was wrong at all. But even on those not-so-good days, they still hung out. "Sometimes you just have to work through the rough days and keep going," Miss Evans said. "All you have to do is find someone to talk to." As a super spy, this wasn't the kind of case that Gracie liked to solve. She was happy when she found out what was wrong, but she was sad at the same time. But there was one thing she learned, that it really helps when you find someone you trust to talk to, even when things don't go the way you want. It wasn't long before the two BFFs were once again making fish faces, singing in opera voices, eating cupcakes, and of course solving mysteries. They were pretty much back to normal. Kinsey still had some days that were sad, and Gracie knew that that was okay, and they would talk about it. There were even days when Gracie needed to talk, and they always knew they had caring adults in their life that would help. But most of all, they had each other, because that's what friends are for. In this story, Kinsey was going through a really rough time in her life, and she had a lot of different emotions that she was feeling on the inside. She was angry, she was sad, and we all feel different emotions every day. You may feel angry, you may feel sad, you feel happy, and sometimes we feel all those emotions in one day, and that's okay, that's normal. That's how we're made, to feel different things like that. But if there's time in your life when you keep feeling angry or you keep feeling sad every day and you can't seem to change the way you're feeling, then you need to talk to an adult about that, a caring adult. It doesn't mean that all your problems are going to disappear, but you're going to have someone that's going to help you through it, just like Kinsey did. Thank you, friends.